Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Nicholas Snow Show. I am, of course, I guess that makes me Nicholas Snow. This is one of the many series on PromoHomo.TV, which expanded into a full-fledged network with multiple shows and network quality programming and production values. I like to think so anyway. This past June. So that's what I did during the pandemic. Now, Jesus Gutierrez and Sergio Aragon are coming to my show for the second time because I enjoyed my interview with them so much the first time. So what we have in common is we all grew up in Arizona, but in very different decades. Okay, I think I left Arizona before they were born. At any rate, after they were childhood friends. After growing up, they ended up moving from Phoenix to New York, and then the pandemic happened, and they sheltered in place for a while in Mexico, and now they're back in Phoenix, and that's probably a good thing, but I know from following their social media that being in Arizona has its challenges, but I think that's true for every place in the world today. So they were working full-time in the Big Apple, Jesus in merchandising at Cole Haan, and Sergio in digital commerce at Tiffany & Company, when they noticed that LGBTQ-focused merchandise was being released only seasonally, particularly during Pride Month rather than year-round. So in 2019, they launched an online store. I just think this is hysterical, called Gay Pride Apparel. Now, the reason it's hysterical is the URL was available, gayprideapparel.com. It was available. Selling LGBTQ plus themed shirts, as well as phone cases, accessories, tote bags, and so much more. And they target the whole alphabet. There's a lot to say about my guest today, and they're going to be coming on the show soon. But for those of you that see my show all the time, you're going to know what I'm about to tell you. But bear with me while I share some information that really makes the entire network and the rest of this interview possible. For their support of my show, I want to thank DAP Health, serving all of Riverside County, but based right here in the Coachella Valley. They're helping keep me alive and thriving. And of course, locally, 849 Restaurant and Lounge was there for lunch yesterday. I had the grilled Cubano with extra crispy French fries. Now, my guest will want to know this, and their friends in Phoenix, but all of you all over the world, you can save the date. So PromoHomo.TV is the official broadcaster of Palm Springs Pride. We're far enough along in the pandemic to know that something will be happening in the real world for Palm Springs Pride. The big events, even though there's a whole week of activities, happen November 5th through the 7th. Locally in the Coachella Valley, if you are feeling disconnected and you want more connection in your life, the LGBT Community Center of the Desert is there for you. Check them out at thecentercv.org. We're going to hear all about Gay Pride Apparel in this show, but don't forget that PromoHomo.TV merch is now on Amazon. I'm so excited. And if you send a selfie of you with the merch, with your permission, I'll put it in the show. Beginning in June, I'm having a special series on PromoHomo.TV through World AIDS Day, looking at my Living Powerfully with HIV memoir, Life Positive, A Journey to the Center of My Heart. Even if you don't read the book, in the book you'll learn that I created a music video campaign to promote HIV testing and safer sex. It's subtitled in 21 languages. And you can ask your smart speaker to play the song or find it on YouTube. This is going to be very promo-homo. If you're in casting, check out my acting in movies and in television and in commercials at that link. And I'm there for you if you need me, if I might be right for a role. Now, this show is made possible by the PromoHomo.TV superstars. I couldn't do it without them, and here's some more about them. And I'll be back with Sergio and Jesus right after this.
And I just can't get enough of your energy. I just can't get enough. You're the light in the middle of the night, and I just can't get enough. Oh, 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 oh,
Thank you for your patience, and thank them too in the green room. Without further delay, let's welcome back to PromoHomo.TV, Sergio and Jesus. Hi, guys.
Hi. This is the fanciest green room ever.
I know.
Well, thank you, and I understand that my green room has a spectacular view of the Phoenix skyline.
It does. It's great.
And I don't stock the refrigerator. You guys do.
Yeah.
And you even do laundry, actually.
Yeah, we're doing laundry right now.
It's the best green room ever.
You're washing some Gay Pride. You're washing some Gay Pride apparel, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Yes.
always wearing it, so I always have to wash it.
So, I know your story because I've had you on the show before and researched that interview, and now I follow you on social media. I'm one of your fans. But you guys met each other in elementary school?
Yeah. It was like 5th, 6th grade, right? When we met?
Yeah.
And you were in the same schools throughout junior high and high school?
Yeah.
Yep. So we went to middle school together, high school together, and elementary school together. So all three of those.
And refresh my memory, when did you each know you were gay and ultimately come out to each other?
So I came out of the closet when I was a sophomore in high school. So that was 13, 14, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came out on the spot. I was like just full blown out of the closet. And then Sergio and I were actually, funny story, we weren't friends. We had a short little period where we weren't friends. And that's when I chose to come out. Not on purpose, but it happened that way. And then Sergio
Was there a fight?
Yeah. I
there
was
was a
in
fight.
shock that he was gay, and I'm like, we're best friends. You never told me you're gay,
Yeah.
but I'm gay too. But
There was a fight though. It was like a just dramatic high school things.
yeah,
We were young. I don't know.
Do you even remember what it was about?
no,
I think they were telling me that I had changed, which probably meant that I was getting gayer.
yeah,
And now you're very, very gay, right?
yeah, very
Now
gay.
we're full blown.
Sounds gay. I'm in.
Yeah,
Exactly. And then you didn't come out till college.
I didn't come out until college, my second year of college. So I was a sophomore in college when I was like, all right, I can tell the world now I'm happy.
But when did you tell Jesus?
That same
Yeah,
year,
the
yeah.
same
I
year.
remember I texted him with a rainbow unicorn and everything.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, finally you come out too.
yeah.
I was like, I've been waiting for years for you to tell me.
And Jesus, did you know that Sergio was gay?
Yeah. It was.
Everyone knew. but like it wasn't like a thing that people would talk about. They just wouldn't ask it, you know.
We all loved Sergio, so it was never like a negative thing or like a thing that we like. Harassed him for. If that makes sense. We were just like, oh, Sergio's gay, but like whatever. We would obviously make fun of him here and there, but yeah, it was fine. And I think leading up to him coming out, I would always tell him like, if you ever have anything to tell me, like I'm here for you. Like don't worry about
sort of like a parent would say to their kid that they've known since kindergarten.
Yeah, because I came out so early on, and I was like, I really just didn't want him to be hurting inside the closet or like being like, I don't know, in distress without telling anyone. But he came out to me, and it was fine.
Yeah.
I'm reminding our live viewers, if they are watching live and ask a question or post a comment, I can put it on screen just like that. For those of you that are watching this on demand later, I'd love for you to comment where you are watching from. That would be very interesting information. Where are you watching from? Yes. And if you want to throw in how you know about this show, that would be interesting to know too. So, now, so Sergio, you must. Were you jealous of this openly gay life that Jesus was living?
Yeah, he came out and he got a boyfriend and everything. So I'm like, wow, you know what I mean? What is this life living? But I had a girlfriend at the time. So I'm like, I just want to wait so I can graduate high school, go off to college, do my own thing, be surrounded by the people that I wanted to be surrounded with, have no one pushing on me to do what I wanted. No, so then I found myself and I'm like, okay, I can actually come out now. Yeah, I came out again full force. I was dating someone. He was a cheerleader. I was a stupid government kid, pretty popular. It was a very
Okay, now one of the things I loved about our last interview is the discovery that you guys got really tired of other people and at some point decided to date each other. Yeah. I always find it so fascinating that people who were friends for a long time become more than that. Yeah. Tell me more specifically about that turn of events in your life.
Well, I feel like we just turned 21. We were going out a lot. We were sleeping with anyone, literally. Yeah. Everyone and anyone, and just being everyone
having fun.
Yeah, exactly. Having fun, experimenting, doing whatever. And then it got.
But we also had serious relationships at the same time.
Exactly. We had serious relationships, and it was just gotten to the point that we were like, what are we doing?
I would text Sergio. Well, the funniest part of this whole thing is that when we did have serious relationships, we would obviously bring them to bring my boyfriend around him and his boyfriend around me, and we would hang out, commingle. And it would always cause friction between our current partners and ourselves. They would
because they were jealous of how close you were.
Exactly.
And they would notice something that we didn't even really notice, I guess. And we were like, "You're so dramatic. Relax." I remember specifically. I hope they're not watching and they don't watch this. But one of my boyfriends,
I frankly hope they do watch because I want as many people to watch as possible. But anyway,
I'll send it to him actually. Hey, you're mentioned in this. No, I remember getting home and him telling me why do you bend yourself backwards, or why are you always there for Sergio? And I was like, because he's my friend. I was like, what are you trying?
I was always there for you too.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, and that's what everyone would always cling on. They'd be like, well, why are you doing the most for your friend? There has to be something more. And then come to find out, there was, I guess.
So. What was, I don't want you to give me anything that's inappropriate for you to share with me, but tell me the circumstances in which you had your first passionate kiss and you actually acted upon this thought.
Well, that was, okay, so I came out
this gets deeper.
I came out sophomore year of college, but I remember senior year, we would always have these parties where I first tasted alcohol. My mom always told me if you have a sip of alcohol, you're going to die. So I never touched alcohol until my senior year. And I got really, really drunk. And we were in the drive-thru of a McDonald's. It was our friend driving, Jesus in the passenger seat, and me in the back, and I was just a blackout mess. So then I literally pull over him through the back and like just start biting his ear, and then I make out with him.
Yeah, I know you're gonna make out with me. He tried, and I was like, well, yeah, we did.
We could, yeah.
But then I was like, oh God. And my friend was like, what just happened? And I'm like, I think he's drunk. Let's take him home now.
Okay, so I'm learning something here because you just pronounced the name Jesus. Do you go by Jesus?
Sergio calls me Jesus, no one else. It's no preference on my end. I don't. It's fine.
I almost said something, but I'm not going to because not appropriate.
Yeah. I know.
Well, I think that aspect of your story is really powerful. And
the McDonald's drive-thru or which one?
well, clearly drunk in the backseat making out. No. The fact that you went through all these young adult experiences and you ended up with each other, and
we just one day we were having problems with our boyfriends, and obviously we're texting each other about it, and literally probably said like jokingly like, oh my God, like everyone sucks, like but you, haha, like just jokingly, I'm sure. And then it led to now 4 years of dating.
Yeah.
4 years? 3 years? Yeah.
Okay, so were you already dating at the point? I think that you were. The answer is yes. That you decided to go to New York, and you did it almost overnight.
Yeah.
Or within a couple weeks, and you were in New York.
Yeah, we were already dating.
So we started dating in September, and then the following year, that April, we packed our bags and moved to New York City.
Yeah, we're like, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
And was gayprideapparel.com was launched before the pandemic.
A year after that.
And before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you each had related jobs.
Yep.
The pandemic happened. You were at home with this time on your hands, and you decided, hey, let's spend more time and energy here, and the rest is kind of history.
Yeah.
Still being made.
Yeah. So like being able to just be at home, I wouldn't take my Gay Pride Apparel computer to the office.
Yeah.
So it was just easier to have both computers up. And we're like, all right, we're just cheating on our time over here at our corporate office, putting more time into Gay Pride Apparel, and it just like snowballed from there.
Yeah, went from like truly a side business with like honestly focused more on like building the community and just really just the foundations, I guess, of the business. It went from that to literally like making sales, and we're like so confused. But it was just all because we were home and we didn't have to commute anymore. It was New York City, so a commute isn't a commute. It's like an hour on a train ride. Like you can't do much. You're just like stuck in these like in between things, and you're like, okay. And we, during the pandemic, we got a partnership with HBO. We worked with like drag queens, and it's bizarre because like you would think, during a normal season we would have been blowing up because it's in-person Pride events. But I mean, June 1st, we woke up and we're like, wow, people are buying Pride clothes even during a pandemic. So it was pretty great.
Well, I love that. Now, you went to Mexico, I want to say for the winter, but I don't even know what months you were there. But what inspired you to shelter in place in Mexico and just vacate New York altogether?
Well, being in New York City when the pandemic started, it was terrifying. It was rough. It was really rough. It was like our mental health was like down. So we're like, all right, if we don't want to live in this apartment anymore, we love the roommate, but we're like, we need more space so we can just like literally breathe. Let's go to Mexico City. We visited in March, right before the pandemic hit, and we're like, we love the city, we love the people, we love the space. Let's go and be inspired. And
we're both Mexican Americans, so we've never lived in Mexico or been that close to like our culture. So when we went to visit in March, we really fell in love with like
everything,
the part of our culture that we never experienced because we grew up in the US and two undocumented parents, so we never really traveled to Mexico. And when we were there, we're like, okay. And we chose to live there too, partly because of just the food and even during COVID, it was still nice to explore a new city, I guess.
Yeah.
Like Sergio said, our mental health really took a toll during COVID, which I'm sure a lot of people had the same reaction. And we're like, let's just like start fresh for a bit.
Yeah, we're like, we quit our jobs. We
Yeah.
have nothing else to do. Nothing's holding us back but COVID.
Yeah.
So we traveled. We went there. We stayed there for 6 months.
Yeah.
It was great.
Well, eventually we'll go back.
Yeah, we're trying.
So what? Now this is where I need to be brought up to speed, because basically, for those of you that watched the last episode, this was all review, but I knew what I was talking about, so I could just zero in on the questions.
Yeah.
What inspired the move back to Phoenix?
Yeah. Honestly, we were so COVID was getting really, really bad in Mexico, and we didn't think that New York would be ready for like a real life. I mean, no one really was ready for real life in New York, and our family's all in Phoenix, so we're like, let's just go back with family, especially after like hectic and chaotic and just tragic year that was last year. We're like, I think being close to our family after being away for almost 4 years is probably the best idea. And here we are. We moved downtown Phoenix, and we're, 5 miles away from my family, and our families are literally neighbors almost. So it's like we can see both of them whenever we go. They come here, hang out with us, and it was just family motivated.
Yeah, it was really nice to just be able to be like, hey, Mom, come over with our masks on and everything. And now we're so happy that we're all vaccinated and everything. But it was just like our families. Yeah, we miss them. Being in New York City, we rarely came home. We came home for a Christmas and a graduation, and that was it.
Yeah, it was our first New Year's
Here.
this past year with our families. It was very
It was really fun.
it was really fun. Yeah, it was different.
Well, I'm really jealous of your downtown high-rise view.
Thank you.
We have a question. We have a question from my friend, actually, Dennis, who's a regular viewer. What do you guys think about marriage? I guess that would mean marriage equality, but more specifically, I'm going to just assume he wants to know, are you going to get married? And are you going to get married to each other if that's the case?
No, yeah. Imagine we're like, no, not to each other.
No, not to each other.
No, I know. I'm just kidding
I feel
about
like-
that.
I feel like one day, once we have
Yeah.
money to like do all that, but like I don't feel like there's a pressure if
Yeah,
our
no.
relationship is great and we have stability and everything. Like, what's the point?
Maybe
I feel like?
eventually, if like something requires that, I can't even think of what, but
I feel like we would have a party to like unionize us to like just celebrate us, but
Yeah.
like I don't.
No, I mean, we'll get married if. Yeah, we don't have any opinions negatively or positively. We're just.
Do you think marriage equality is important? And do you have a sense that your generation is happy about it?
I think marriage equality is important just for the sake of putting us in a position where we're not different. If that makes sense, we're like
Yeah.
more mainstream and kind of less ostracized, I guess. Or yeah. I don't know if our generation's big on marriage, period, like gay or straight. So I don't know if so for the marriage equality, it's a great thing for the community as a whole. I don't know if our community or our generation in the community cares that much. I don't know.
And just like our backgrounds, like my parents are divorced and they got married at a very young age and had 4 kids. I'm like, let's just ride out our life. Let's become successful. Let's travel the world. Let's do everything that we can. And then let's settle down like years and years and years.
My parents are still together, but they probably shouldn't be. So,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Are you going to send this episode to them as well?
I have a list of like, yeah.
Oh, well, good. I love that. So I'm going to actually put all of your contact up on purpose, because while I'm doing that, I'm prepared to show off your website. And the reason that I want to show off your website is to segue into my next question, which I particularly, this is one of the things that impresses me about you guys the most. So right here at gayprideapparel.com, you give people the opportunity to shop by alphabet, basically. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, asexual, pansexual, non-binary, allies, and plus. And for those of you who are watching, you probably would wonder, well, with all of that, what could the plus possibly be? And I went and looked at that section, and basically it's more universal. 10% off. Go there now. But it's more universal,
Yeah.
universal equality messages that are basically applicable to all of the above.
Yeah. And
So
we're constantly trying to add, as we learn more about the community, trying to add more representation and more letters there. And the plus for now is, like you're saying, more like a catch-all of like universal messaging that's not necessarily tied to a letter.
But it was just very important for us because when coming up with Gay Pride Apparel, it was very hard for you to go out and buy a lesbian t-shirt or a lesbian mug or a bisexual t-shirt, because like you would go to these big box stores and it's just rainbows. But like, what if I don't identify with the rainbow? I identify with the colors of my sexuality, which are pink, purple, and blue, and they don't have that. They just have the rainbow. So we're like, hey, if we're going to create this store for everyone, it should really encompass everyone and their own identity.
And honestly, people were asking for it. We don't know what you don't know, right? And we always say that we don't know just because we're gay and we're two cis men. We don't know everything. So we love to like listen to our customers and our community and like hey, there's a lesbian flag, by the way, and we're like, oh cool, now I learned about the lesbian flag. Because we grew up thinking about the rainbow as like the community identifier, but there's like all these different little symbols that we don't know about.
But then again, going off of that, it's very like we grew up thinking that there's just gay, and then there's a stigma of like the pressure of just being gay, that people are not able to like self-identify within themselves, and then just having these aspects of all the identities, you're able like to represent your own self. Yeah, in a way.
Well, the other thing that I like about this is you can shop by apparel, accessories, home goods, family pride gear, collabs and shops, pride flag, and throw blankets. But what I really wanted to go to were the collections. You have the new Gay and Tired collection.
Yeah.
Zodiac Pride, Sounds Gay I'm In, Retro Pride, Rainbow Squares, Love is Love, Ally Apparel, Rainbow States, and more. Really something for everybody.
Yeah. No, it's great. I mean, again, we just listen to what people want. It's really funny to say this out loud because it sounds really stupid and I don't know what we were thinking. But when we first launched, we didn't have anything rainbow
at all.
We thought that we were being cute and we're like, let's not do any rainbows. And then, I mean,
we're like, are now.
A year later, we're like,
rainbows.
A year later, we're like, we're so stupid. The community obviously is represented by the rainbow, so we should obviously give them what they want and what makes us feel proud, pun intended.
So you're very tuned in for so many different reasons to breaking news and social issues, and you're among the first to really put out voices of support. For example, Stop Asian Hate, and with the recent horrors perpetrated against Black men, you've been putting out messaging around that. And I know that one of the things that you were very active in doing last summer was supporting Black Lives Matter.
Yeah,
and I get pitched from people that want me to do stories about them, but many times they view the LGBTQ community and allies and various social issues as a way to sell their product.
Yeah.
And you guys don't come from that place, nor do I. It's about really truly being a part of, making a difference, figuring out our own responsibilities and role to it. In my case, I look at white privilege and try to understand that more.
Yeah.
I have to say though, I find myself consistently heartbroken at some of the things that are going on in the world, and the two of you are more directly and personally in touch with people that find your products and they look at you for the light and the hope that you're shining. And I was wondering if you would talk about this very personal connection that's happening between you and your customers because of who you are and what you stand for.
Yeah, I think, last year was it's just kind of annoying because it's like a deja vu to last year based on what happened to, the person a couple of days ago or last weekend, was it? Yeah. It's just like, it's crazy. I think that we always say that we're here, like we exist because of the community that we have and the one that we've built. So we want to speak up. We want to make sure that we're amplifying whatever voices are not being amplified. You said you have white privilege. We have the cisgender privilege that we're cis men. So like trying to put ourselves in the shoes of our transgender siblings and kind of just like you don't know what you don't know. And like I said earlier, like we try to immerse ourselves as much as possible. Spreading, both the message of hope, but also a message of like, hey, this is something wrong that we need to, come together to do. Like for example, recently a couple was out eating nearby our apartment, which really hit close, literally to home. And they were beat up by, a group of cisgender straight men, and it went viral sort of like on Instagram, but like no one's really doing anything about it. So we were just like, let's just make a post about it and say like, hey, this is happening. If anyone, we have 40,000 followers, which, relative to like other accounts is not that big, but if anyone of you 40,000 people know what we can do to make this better, let us know, get together, how do we make this a better place for everyone? And I think that's just part of our responsibility. It's not even like it's something that we have to do. It's just literally a responsibility as humans, honestly.
Well, thank you for that. And your response, I always think in terms of privilege, I was thinking, yeah, I know I have white privilege. That's one of the things that's really been pointed out over the last year.
Yeah.
But it didn't occur to me right now, the concept of cis male privilege.
Okay.
I did think about male privilege, but it hadn't occurred to me cis male privilege. So once again, you're opening my eyes to just all these different layers of privilege. I mean, I'm totally doing what I can to be engaged with helping to raise consciousness around all of these issues for sure. But
it's hard.
Yeah, we're always learning and growing.
I really think that I don't know. It's hard to say. I've been in this weird place with social media and the world, but I think that it's you acknowledge what privilege you do have and then use your voice with that privilege. And if you at least do that, I feel like your privilege doesn't go away, but at least you're doing something with it to make the world a better place.
Exactly.
So, getting back to a lighter subject, your company.
Yes.
Now, one of the reasons we timed your appearance for today is because we are leading into Pride season.
Yes.
Even though you have discovered quite joyfully there's a year-round demand for Gay Pride Apparel. What can people anticipate from Gay Pride Apparel moving into Pride season? And by the way, for you viewers, this is not a paid promotion. I'm here to empower these guys. This is complete journalism, just so you know, in case you're wondering, wow, I do such a great job of promoting Gay Pride Apparel. No, I'm a journalist, and this is what I do. So what's happening with you guys through Pride season?
Conversation.
Exactly.
Tell me, what's up?
We have some fun stuff coming out. We worked with the graphic designer that we met in Mexico City, actually. And we created a capsule collection for Pride based on, loosely on the 70s, I guess. We try to go with the theme of, the fight's not over. We're still fighting for rights, whether it's, the transgender healthcare stuff that's going on or whatever it is. There's always something to fight for. And it's launching mid-May.
Yep.
Some fun new retro looking, super groovy, I guess you could say, designs.
Just with powerful statements that we took inspiration from those posters after the 1969 riots, that people were ready to be here, be queer, and just taking inspiration from those sayings and bringing them now to 2021, that we're still fighting for and that we're still here. Queer is joy. We're happy. We're living. Being together.
Is that different from the retro Pride stuff that's on your site right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna be more. You're gonna like it. We'll send it to you. It's definitely more retro looking than that. That retro Pride was our launch last year that we kind of had to put in the back burner because of the BLM movement. We chose to not launch the full campaign. So this year you'll see the full retro aspect come to life.
Okay, fantastic. The only thing that I know I want to talk about with you guys before I give you an open-ended question that allows you to add anything, is you get your share of trolls.
Oh God, yeah.
People that are going after you from all sorts of different perspectives and places. I would expect that sort of thing from the religious right and from those sorts of bigots, and in your case, maybe people that are anti-minority, people who are white supremacists, that sort of trolling. But you've had some trolls from within the LGBTQI plus community. Describe a couple of examples of that.
Oh God.
I straight up thought to the one that happened like a month ago. We woke up on a Saturday morning to a chat or a DM that they were discriminating to us because we were offering discreet packaging.
God.
They're like, so if you think you should be promoting gay pride, gay acceptance, why aren't you labeling the box with Gay Pride Apparel? And we're like, just because you live in a like nice,
Again, go back to privilege.
Yeah.
Just because you're privileged enough to be out and safe and whatever your case is, doesn't mean that, let's say, for example, me, 14-year-old Jesus in West Phoenix who has religious parents, I should be able to order something too. And if I have to hide it from my parents, that's like my mission. And like we all hid stuff like, under your mattress, whatever. Like, it's not that. And there's like, you're promoting shame. I was like, oh God.
yeah.
I was like, that's okay. Here we go.
It was the opposite. Really.
Yeah.
I mean, you were doing the opposite, but I've been out of the closet since 1983, before both of you were born, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I literally came out in Arizona in 1983, and in 1985 I was in statewide television there.
Yeah.
Various times as an activist. So but I made those choices and paid the consequences and got the benefit of living an out proud and authentic life. But we all have to remember, those of us that have secured freedoms, that there are many people that are still trapped in families, in communities, in circumstances, in countries where they cannot be themselves. And in many of those countries, people are put to death.
Exactly.
These things aren't necessarily registering to those of us that are getting ready to go to the parade, or maybe non-pandemic times, the tea dance or whatever. We still have so much work to do.
That's exactly. I mean, and that sums up like our entire mission. And honestly, to be honest, we always say like what we've learned from Gay Pride Apparel, because we started this as like, as to out gay men in fashion in New York, like how more stereotypical and like publicly out can you be? Like, like we started this when we were like in the pinnacle of our privilege, and we didn't realize and we didn't learn that our community, I mean, we knew it, it, but it hit us in the face that like, oh, there's people who want us to be around Gay Pride Apparel because they don't have the privilege that we're having in the middle of like a literal bubble of liberal gayness. Like that's New York, right? And yeah, it's just like we have to. It was just
gross because like he was like, I was about to order, but I saw that you do discreet packaging, and I'm like, how is that going to stop you from ordering? Like you're going to rip up the box and throw it away and wear your shirt, you know? Like it didn't make sense to us. He was just trolling us. He was like, leave it up to them to get whatever hate they want. And we're like, what kind of acceptance, like coming from a gay male, like telling us that we can't be doing what we're doing to share love to everyone else, And
this might be a mistake or it might be a great thing, but I always put these people on blast on our social media channels and, in our comments. Obviously, even sometimes we get backlash. They're like, oh, well, that person's right. And we're like, whatever. Your opinion, our opinion, whatever. But someone said something along the lines that like, someone replied with, you're getting this worked up about something you're gonna throw away, like the packaging. Like unless you're keeping like every package that you get, like. And then someone else said, I wish all my orders came in discreetly. I don't want anyone to know what I'm ordering from the internet. So it's like that guy just chose that battle that morning, and it was 9 a.m. I was like, oh my God, this is my Saturday morning.
I'm going to make you full screen again, but when I do that, briefly pan your camera down so we can see the logos of the shirts that you're wearing. So you've got the rainbow on Sergio and the love is love on Jesus, or as Sergio would say, Jesus. And all right, you can put your camera back up so you're nice and centered. I'm the director and the producer. And that's part of your embroidery collection, which is your most reviewed, hottest collection, the embroidery collection.
Yeah,
I feel like I should be like on the Home Shopping Network.
Yeah, QVC moment.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you want to talk about? I thought of another question, but I'm going to ask you your open-ended question first. Is there anything that you would like to talk about that we haven't addressed so far in this interview?
Well, cancel culture. I feel like with being with social media and that information that we just shared about that one guy telling us that like all these things, it's just like, where are you in the spot to tell us what to do if you're not doing this yourself? I was like, why are you coming to us? You don't have a shop with LGBTQIA plus apparel for everyone that provides discreet packaging. What are you doing to the community? You haven't been able to donate thousands of dollars to feed the queens. Like, you've been doing nothing, so you have no right to be able to tell us this, to cancel us. And it's just like so stressful being in social media now and like living in 2021. There's no reason to cancel anyone. We're all learning, we're all growing, like just accept it and move on. And
We're gonna get canceled for him saying that.
Yeah, like it was just like annoying because I'm like, you're telling us this, but what are you doing helping the community? You're just bashing on the community even more for telling this.
I think that, just to sum it all up, like we're all learning, and I've been saying this the whole time now, but we don't know what we don't know. So don't let people learn before you try to like cancel them. Except if you're Trump, you're done learning. Trump's canceled.
Goodbye.
Hey, last time we chatted, was Trump still in office?
Yeah.
Yes, he was. It was very scary, and the election had not happened. You were in November, so.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, we had. I think the election would have happened. I don't even remember. But I'm so glad that that's sort of a past experience.
Yeah, we're like, we don't even remember.
When was the election again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm so glad I don't have to watch the news 24/7 to know whether or not the world's going to explode.
Exactly. It was horrible. Horrible.
Anyway, ask us your question.
The question that I wanted to ask is that being in Arizona, so I know because I grew up there the challenges that exist, but I know that the ugliness in Arizona and everywhere has been exacerbated with the permissions that have been given by the last administration. Yeah. And we've never seen these horrors in our lifetimes, even though I'm decades older, this in our faces. But the flip side of the coin is, and this is true of Arizona, there's amazing, powerful, wonderful, enlightened, cutting edge individuals and segments of humanity that are doing everything they can to respond to these horrors. And I was wondering if you would talk to me about the things you still find discouraging about Arizona and the things that are giving you hope.
Well, I can take it back to the recent experience that happened down the street. It happened on Saturday, and then we heard about it on Sunday morning, and then that just like, we literally lived down the street. We'd gone to the restaurant across the street.
And two people were gay
badged?
It
was a couple out for their anniversary, like dinner.
Of two gay men?
Yes.
Yeah, a couple.
And they were beaten up by men.
By a group of straight men. Like, they were jumped.
So
okay.
It's just terrible.
They were at a bar, and this bar is like, it looks scary anyway. So like I've heard of different like incidents there already, but this couple was just out there enjoying drinks and dinner, and then somehow altercations happened where they were being called slurs and all kinds of bad words, and then they were beat up. And the worst part is that the establishment hasn't said anything about it. And we sent our social media army over to their Instagram, and they delete all the comments and they like block people, and they're like, they're not willing to like
Be held accountable
answer
for anything.
any questions about anything that happened in their establishment.
Was there any reporting on the local news?
I think they're going to report soon. One of the local drag queens who we're close friends with, Nevaeh McKenzie, well, former drag queen, I guess, is like working on a press release and like a press conference. And then we were able to get some of our contacts at AZ Central, our big publication here, to reach out to the victims and kind of get their story. So we don't know how it's going to develop, but and apparently the ACLU is getting involved. It's getting some traction.
Which is great
Okay.
because we need that representation in our community.
And
here.
apparently it's like, we'll stick on the discouraging, we'll quickly go over to the encouraging part. But apparently it's like the fourth, fifth like hate crime that happens against the community.
And nothing
the LGBT
happens.
community, and nothing is ever investigated. Like a couple years ago, 2018, someone was waiting for an Uber and,
Got jumped.
a tall white man decided to come after them and say the F word to him and broke his knee in 3 different places, or his leg in 3 different places, $28,000 in bill, which is, it's 2021 in the 5th largest city in America. Like what? Let's get with the program here. Encouraging point, I guess, of Arizona. Since we've been back, we've seen a lot more, I guess, of our community members out and proud.
Yeah.
I think, I forgot how gay it could be here. And,
Yeah.
when we're out and about in Melrose District or even downtown sometimes, we're like, oh, cool. And you just know, like, oh, that person is definitely
Yeah.
gay. and
And just like being able to wear our stuff, like I'm scared going down the street to Fry's and buy groceries, and I'm like, oh, I might be called out or something. But the people there are so amazing and so supportive. They're like, oh my God, I love your tote. I love your sweatshirt. And like, before going to the store, I was scared of getting called a slur or something because we're in Arizona. It's very small here in the downtown area. But then going there, it just makes me happy. And I'm just like, okay, I'm supported. I'm here.
shout out to the the Fry's cashiers.
They're great.
for
They're
making
all
us
great.
feel safe.
Yeah, exactly. Because like you do have that fear of like just being called out for no reason, just walking down the street.
Yeah, it's also another cool thing that we've noticed since being back. I guess we'll do 2 encouraging things. There's like more gay bars than ever before. It feels like they're just opening up randomly, and I'm like, oh, this is encouraging. People are moving here. There's even one downtown that everyone goes to, and I was like, oh, there's 2 actually down here now, which is more than there was when I used to live here.
Well, something else that's encouraging is that we're all vaccinated. The vaccines are being rolled out, and I'm sorry that you've been living in a state that hasn't taken the pandemic as seriously as it needed to. So on another positive note, so I've just remembered that you guys are fans and maybe friends with Kevin McSweeney.
Yes.
Well, I met Kevin McSweeney when I was in high school.
What? Oh my God.
What is Kevin's drag name? Pussy LaHooch?
Pussy LaHooch.
See, it's like, that's just so wild. So, hey, Kevin or Pussy, if you're watching, sending you love. Come on my show. Come on my show, Pussy LaHooch.
We will let him, her, them know whenever we see her at Charlie's next. And then, we love them. Like that was the first drag queen I ever saw when I was a 21-year-old 4 years ago. But at Charlie's, like I was like mesmerized by Pussy LaHooch. And during the pandemic, actually, we'll watch all her shows on Facebook Live that she would do.
But for them to be like the longest running drag queen show at Charlie's before they like took a retired, like
so
amazing.
Iconic.
You know what I mean?
She's as iconic as you are, Nicholas.
Oh, there you go, calling me iconic again. I think the word is just old. She's old like I am. Well, once again, I've really enjoyed our conversation. I want to show your website again. I guess for new customers, they're going to be seeing this 10% offer
but they
pop
can
up.
they can use PromoHomo for 20% off.
Oh, wow. Use PromoHomo and get 20% off. Now you're going to find out how many people don't watch my show, right? Or at least not watch it until the very end. Getting back to whether or not you feel comfortable wearing your apparel out in public, almost always I'm wearing a PromoHomo.TV labeled shirt. It's just really important marketing. Plus you never know who's gonna like, oh, he's gay. It's like, oh, right, yeah, it's like So I drive to Arizona. I don't even think about it. I have a very gay car. So I like rainbow stickers all over my
I
car.
love that.
I was like,
My no, it's a SUV. It's a larger car. It's a hybrid, but I have PromoHomo.TV logo bumper sticker. My license plate is out TV star.
Oh my
So
God.
it's like my car is very gay, but I'm just so used to being comfortable in my own skin
Yeah.
and fiercely living my life that once again, this comes from privilege. It's like I'm walking down this. I've been walking a mile almost every day. Actually, every day for the last 48 days, I've walked a mile. And
When we do that.
Yeah.
I walked by a police officer on a motorcycle who had pulled over to try to catch people speeding, which I appreciate because it's a busy street right outside my apartment. And I believe in good police, and I believe most police are good.
Yeah.
And I believe that that's predominantly true in Palm Springs. But once again, that's my white male perspective.
Yeah.
I don't have the same experience as someone else in Palm Springs that's not white.
Yeah.
But on the same walk, I'll often see this young black teenager on his skateboard going up and down the sidewalk. And I'm telling you, I feel like if I was a black person, I would have a panic attack when I saw the police.
Yeah.
Just by the horrible, limited circumstances that we know of, and most likely broader problems. I'm not going to say most likely. There are broader problems. I can't name them.
Yeah.
But I'm just very much aware that it's all of us to fiercely live our lives
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
and be part of the solution.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's how we do it with Gay Pride Apparel.
Okay, then. So how many followers on Instagram?
Us 44,000.
Yeah. How many on Twitter?
You don't keep track of Twitter.
Okay, I do know you have around 10,000 on Facebook. Does that sound right?
Yes,
Gosh,
I
we
just
grew on Facebook.
I think I shared it earlier.
And of course, gayprideapparel.com. You guys are great. The offer still remains for you to come to Palm
I know.
Springs.
Now that we already have our vaccine.
We're fully vaccinated.
Yes. I cannot make that offer though for Pride Weekend. You can come for Pride Weekend. It's just my guest room isn't available.
It's the same weekend as Phoenix Pride.
Oh, you know what? I heard about that.
Yeah.
And you know what? Phoenix, I'll tell you some dish. Phoenix made their announcement knowing that it was the same weekend as Palm Springs Pride. I do know that.
Are they trying to compete? Like,
I have no idea. It probably has to do with the other things going on in Phoenix and their need for venues and street closures and access. I'm sure it has to do with the local needs of the event. But unless you can clone yourself, that weekend's not going to work.
Go to Palm Springs instead.
we never been into Palm Springs.
I have. He hasn't. He would fall in love with Palm Springs. I fell in love with Palm Springs.
Well, my place is not available for you to stay that weekend because of how intense that weekend is for me personally. However, any other weekend, my guest room is also available.
Got it. We'll rent a car and drive down.
I know we should.
Yeah.
We'll make this work. We'll figure it out.
Fantastic. You guys stay where you are so we can speak briefly after the show. Thank you so much for being on the show. Always
everyone.
great to see you.
Thank you, Dennis, for your questions.
Thank you at home for watching. I really appreciate you. PromoHomo.TV is connecting the circuitry of humanity by creating programming for LGBTQ plus everyone, and that includes you. I'll see you next time.
And I just can't get enough of your